Convoy, make an arrest.
This footage shows how a soldier who refused to fight in Ukraine was demonstratively put out of action, and then he was handcuffed and taken away by the security forces. The video appeared on the network is hardly accidental. Its goal is to intimidate the same conscientious objectors, and there are more and more of them in the Russian army. Because after more than a year of the Russian-Ukrainian war, it has become clear that the Russian army is not the second powerful in the world. In Ukraine, the Russian soldier is not a liberator, but a criminal, an occupier and a murderer. And the most eloquent argument was tens of thousands of soldiers' graves in every region of Russia.
At the expiration of the contract, it is impossible for Russian servicemen to leave the army at will. They are actually transferred to the position of serfs and cannot break the contract. The most difficult situation to protect one's right and generally feel like citizens is limited to the category of an active Russian soldier.
Garrison military courts have already received 536 cases of objectors. The most popular articles: unauthorized abandonment of the unit, failure to follow orders, beating of the commander. In almost half of the cases there are verdicts. Demonstrative trials are held for the military and information is hidden from civilians, for the former to be afraid and the latter to believe in the rule of law.
We had show trials in the club at the base. Officers from each unit gather a certain number of contract soldiers, some were conscripts. The tablets are drawn up, the judge arrives in robes. And, well, it gets very boring. Then, do you understand? Yes, that's all right, Your Honor. Of course, this is done for propaganda purposes. Of course, the command will then use it. Dmitry Vasilets, senior lieutenant of the Russian army, in an interview with Mediazona.
Despite tougher punishment, the majority of objectors receive suspended sentences. It's just that it's easier to send a conditionally convicted person back to the front. The structure, which is outside the law, even in the Federation itself, Wagner private military company, has other methods of punishment. Their objectors are executed. There are many such cases. Andrei Medvedev, the former commander of Russian prisoner Yevgeny Nuzhin, who was killed with a sledgehammer, told the Insider. Nuzhin was demonstratively executed by PMC mercenaries. The execution was filmed and posted online. Medvedev said that the PMC itself has a special unit, something like an internal security service, which get rid of objectors using various methods.
Objectors were wounded and went to the hospital near Peromaisk, and from there they tried to escape. They were taken at the border at the checkpoint. A group of Mets arrived and they were shot. Andrei Medvedev, former mercenary of the PMC Wagner, in an interview with the Insider.
The Russian military has no rights after they have entered the building of the Military Registration and Enlistment Office. After the successful counteroffensive by the armed forces of Ukraine, volumes of dismissal reports were found in the former Russian positions, which of course no one signed.
Отказываюсь от дальнейшего участия в операции. Отказываюсь от выполнения боевой задачи, отказываюсь от условий контракта, отказываюсь от выполнения приказов командиров и начальников.
There are only 25 cases in the courts of Russia on the fact of a serviceman's refusal to carry out the order of commander, but the number of such proceedings is growing.
Until December 20th, he had the opportunity to send a report and demand dismissal because he had anti-war convictions. He ceased to be a soldier. And there were such cases, several thousand, and on September 21st this opportunity was closed, and now a Russian soldier, if he does not want to go to war, in fact only has the opportunity to file a report demanding that he be sent to serve without weapons so that he does not take part in military hostilities.
But in this case it is not worth counting on the fact that the Russian courts will be true to the letter of law. The only really working option to avoid participating in the war against Ukraine is simply not to take the summons in hand and not to cross the threshold of the Military Registration and Enlistment Office. Reported by Roman Smoler, Yulia Bezborodko, UATV News.